Hello, this is Steve Dupree of NowEnergetics.com based on YUEN Method. Welcome back to my channel. We're going to go over an article kind of related to healing and healers in general. You know, we have this notion of people that are healers, that are perhaps part of the alternative movements and so on, energy work. I wrote this article in one of my Facebook posts a long time ago, a couple of years ago. No healer am I, and I really wanted to kind of give people the impression there that there's nothing that we do that's really that significant. You know, people think that there's some really you have to sort of be special to be a healer, or you have to be able to see energy, or you have to be able to see auras or something like that. And it puts us on the same kind of pedestal we put allopathic medicine and doctors and things like that. And we really don't. For one thing, it's not the right thing to do anyway, because it means that we're in sort of this very uneven relationship with other people and just clients in general. And so we don't want to be we don't want to just kind of duplicate the allopathic kind of kind of situation there. We want to be in a state where we're more even with our clients. So we don't want to put too much emphasis on the word. We don't even like to use the word healer. We're more in a sense directing people to their own answers, because the answers are all in the person's energy. So we may have a little bit of a skill in looking at these things, but with YUEN Method, we're not looking at any kind of more deeper esoteric things. We need to look at whether something is strong or weak, something goes weak, and we're really not looking, we can get all the information we need using strong and weak. Weakness is the indicator that something is affecting the person and going in the right direction of an answer. And we use our insight and our intuition and our testing of strong and weak to come up with these answers. So it's nothing that anyone can learn how to do it. You don't have to, be someone who sits and meditates or has some kind of spiritual practice or something, or have a bunch of crystals around you or anything like that. There's, the people that do that, that's fine. But we don't have any preconditions for doing this work. And we don't want there to be any kind of mysticism around what we do, because what we do is, as I say here, we're getting information from either ourselves or from the client. We're not really doing anything that significant, in our opinion, at least with YUEN Method. We're really just getting the answers from someone's energy. And if the person accepts that truth for even 1 millisecond, that's when they notice a shift. When they're neutral enough for that 1 second, that's what actually shifts the person and allows them to actually notice that the answer that we got from their energy is actually the truth. So that's really the kind of bottom line here. And kind of what I say in this article is what we do. The kind of work that we do, our guidance, is not some grandiose thing. Okay, it's just an everyday common thing that we're doing. And we want to make it so it's very common. We don't want something to be associated with, what we do to be associated with some kind of 1 in a million miracle kind of thing. So that's a very bad association to have. You want to be so neutral that these things can occur 1 million times a day, never mind 1 in a million. So we want it to be very common, and we want to get neutral, that something happening very quickly can be very common. So as kind of an adjunct to that, kind of Facebook article, I wrote this article with my cool little graphic here, which, I actually did this in Microsoft Word. I couldn't even tell you how I did it, but it kind of looks cool. It's kind of a reflection. So that's the extent of my artistic skills. And, this article kind of goes in a little more depth about the weakening effect of healer and healing beliefs in general that we can harbor as practitioners, and, clients can harbor that come to us, looking at us as some sort of guru, or in an uneven way. And we don't want that. We want to dispel that right up front, that we're, in order to do this work, we have to be even with ourselves and with our clients, so that's very important. And one of the things that, you find when you use energetic testing and you look at the actual words themselves, the positive words that you think would empower someone, it actually weakens a lot of people. A lot of the positive phrases that we use, and even the word healer itself, weakens many people. It attaches them to this kind of 1 in a million, this miracle kind of energy, which basically means nothing's going to happen, right? So that's just the bottom line there. So you don't want to tie people's beliefs or the notion of a healer to what we do, right? So that's really it, because you have to do a lot of clearing to get rid of that sort of energy that you think would be positive but really isn't. And one of the other articles that I wrote in the video that I did was this is actually a free neutrality worksheet that you can get from the Now Energetics TV channel. It's another article. It actually comes with a neutrality worksheet. And one of the things I go over in this too is, it's kind of paradoxical, but most people are weak to the positive words and positive outcomes. The words and notions that we think are positive really weaken a lot of people. And you can look at kind of the list here of positive words. And one of the words here is healing. And so we tend to be more strong to and not affected by the things that we say bother us, which are usually the negative things, all the things that I have showing you here underneath here. So that's really important. The healer kind of belief and word is seen as positive, kind of logically, but it really, it doesn't pan out. It kind of weakens a lot of people. So we often have to clear those kind of blocks for people in general, because we can actually project out that energy as practitioners too. So, and that energy is kind of a, the kind of euphemistic language we use with healer is, things like healing takes time, so that's already a big anchor that you're attaching to any kind of, session that you have with someone. If they have that in their energy, or you harbor that in your energy as a practitioner, that things are going to take a while, things progress at their own time, maybe tomorrow. We don't want to have any of that. When we do this work, we want immediate shifts and immediate results. We're asking the person, 2 seconds later, are you noticing a difference, same or different? And I think for a lot of people that do other kind of energy work, or the clients of other energy workers, they kind of want things to take longer. And it's kind of a shock to them that we're actually asking them for feedback every 30 seconds or something. We actually expect people to shift that quickly, right? And actually it takes longer just saying it than actually doing the shifts. But that's the kind of nature of a session. So I want to kind of emphasize that that's where we are with this style of energy work. We really want things to happen very, very quickly. And we don't want any blocks to be related to people thinking about healing and attaching themselves to the notion of that in the collective, that things are going to be slow, right? We're going to get better, but it's going to be really slow, but you'll get better, but you'll get better faster than the allopathic methods or something. So that's just as bad, in my opinion. So we want things to be very, very fast, and we want to get folks neutral so that these things can happen very quickly. And by happen quickly, I just mean that folks will perceive the energy shift. The shifts often have already taken place. And a lot of the work we do is just on perception, making sure people can perceive the shifts that have already taken place. So we want to, truly empower the client. And the way we empower the client is with our neutrality and getting them neutral also to accept these shifts that happen very, very quickly, and not because of some, that we're some guru or something like that. It's just not the way it is. We get the answers from their energy, and that's the way it works. So, we talked about we don't want to have any kind of conscious or subconscious association with healing and miracles, right? So that's a weakening effect for most people. And it's a compound weakening effect. So we don't want the slowness and rarity of a miracle to be attached to what we do. So we don't want to talk about healing per se, right? So, and, if you harbor those kind of beliefs, one of the things that happens is if you have that in your energy, you're more likely to attract experiences and situations that basically create, attract, or perpetuate the problem, by creating these events and situations where you stay stuck, basically. So you don't want to have any of that energy. you don't want to, as a practitioner, project any of that energy out there into your clients. You want to be neutral, but you also want your clients to be neutral as well. So the actual words are associated with events and experiences, and they can weaken people. So we think of a word as just sort of all by itself standing, but it really is a concept and an idea in many cases that is associated with an energy. So we want to be very careful how we use our words, and careful, I would say, in a neutral way, right? We want to be very clear about what we're doing and what we're clearing, and we also want our clients to be neutral to the kind of work that we do, and the energy that we strengthen, let's say. So we don't want any influences from the client, the practitioner, or the collective influences of the healer belief, right? So we want to delete that. Many times we want to delete that up front. So there's, normal lay people probably have a certain amount of that in their energy. And in the first session or two, that's probably going to affect how they actually perceive. It's actually a perception block to a certain extent of being able to perceive what's actually taking place, which is the energy shifts, right? So we talk a little bit more about this here. We don't want to attach any anchor to the client by having our own beliefs or the client themselves having their beliefs about a particular concept or situation where we're trying to give them an answer from their energy, and also it's really the truth for them, and the truth should shift them, right? So they should be shifting on the spot. So we want to get the client more neutral, and we want them to unresonate from the energy that's keeping them stuck, basically. So that's what we're doing when we're finding a weakness. We're actually trying to strengthen it so that we get them neutral to unresonate from that biased energy, let's say, that's keeping them stuck. Something is supporting the current state 24/7, and it's usually the energy behind what we need to strengthen, the weakness that we need to find and strengthen in order to change the energy in the situation. And that can ripple back through time. It can ripple into the future as well. It can ripple into other people's lifetimes and the people they're attached to, the ancestors, descendants, and so on. And that's actually what really happens. We correct something in the past and it ripples into the present, right? That's really what we're doing in many cases. And we should be, kind of aware that that's what's going on. We're reaching back that far. We clear a karmic energy. We're actually reaching back way into the past to clear an energy as if it never happened. So that ripples all the way into our present, right? So, just talking about all of these different beliefs and cumulative effects and things like that. These are things we do very, very normally and typically in a session. And we don't want anyone to have any positive or negative anticipation or expectation of any outcomes that we're not as some kind of guru, giving them advice or something. What we're really doing is we're reading their energy, and we're taking a picture with their camera, and we're taking that camera and we're just turning it around and showing them the image we just took with their iPhone or their, Android device, right? It's a picture in their energy, and we're just showing it to them, and that's their truth, basically. So that's all we're really doing here. One of the things we often have to clear in people, and let's say the first couple of sessions, is all these notions that folks come to us, let's say for the first time, if they're just new to energy work, and maybe sometimes they're not new to energy work, but they just have never, worked with us before in this method. Kind of the notion of that they need to be healed, that they can't find the answers themselves. Well, the truth is, if a 3-year-old gave you the answer on a piece of paper, it would shift you just as much as any practitioner giving you that same answer, right? So if you get the right answer, that's going to resolve the situation. You're going to feel a shift. You're going to feel a difference in the next moment, right? It's not going to take days to feel that difference. So there's no notion that, the help has to come somehow from outside of us. All the answers are inside your energy, right? So, and we already talked about this, the healing takes time. And the toughest one, I think, in this life is the need to suffer before we get better. There's so many of us in this mankind that have struggles through their lives. So they kind of have this in their energy that everything you do needs to be a struggle, and you need to suffer to get better. You can't get an answer in 1 second that can solve something that you've had for 50 years. Well, the truth is you can't. And many times that energy, we never get those right answers because we're not taught that many of the issues that we have come from energy that's from outside of us, energy from our ancestors, things conventionally that we would, and logically, we would never think. We hear the stories about grandma, but we never think that we would need to clear an energy from someone who's passed to get rid of some symptom that we have in the present. And more often than not, that's actually what happens. So we talked about this already. None of the answers come from the practitioner or higher source. And if that, the higher source is the higher self of the person, right? That's their own energy that's giving us the answers. And we need to accept, acknowledge, and recognize that those answers are in the client's energy, or if you're working on yourself in your own energy, and not because we have some special gift or anything. Most of us have varied backgrounds. I have a very technical background, very left brain kind of job. And, if I can do this work, and Dr. YUEN would say this too, if he can do it, anyone can do it, right? So he came from that left brain, kind of rocket science engineer, kind of background, chiropractor. So he very left brain, knowledge-based kind of background. And yet, look what he's given us there. So, so important thing is if you get the right answer from the client's energy and they're neutral for 1 second, and in that moment, in between the ticks of time is when that person's going to shift, right? So they drop into that moment in between 2 ticks of the clock, let's say, let's just describe it that way, easiest way to do it. And they're just neutral for that 1 second. That's when they're going to notice a shift, right? That's what we want to do. Get them in that state where they can accept, acknowledge, and recognize in that second, and then they can shift. So we're basically giving people direction and guidance. Like I said, we're taking a picture of them with their own camera and we're just showing it to them. We don't have any guru skills or anything else. Should be a much more common thing that we do, and that we're not, in any way special in the kind of work that we do here. So, so that's all I wanted to cover about healers and healing in general. Just, we need to be very neutral in our own energy as practitioners, regardless of what your modality is, and because we don't want to project out that energy into our clients, right? So we're not going to get the kind of results we need if we're not neutral ourselves about our own evenness with our clients and with ourselves. And we're going to get much better results with that evenness and getting ourselves and our clients neutral, right? So, and at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're uncovering and presenting the truth, right? That's all we're really doing. We're not, when we find a weakness, the weakness is the direction of truth, or is it, it could be the truth itself, or, you may have to go several layers, but that's all we're really doing is uncovering the truth. And that's what shifts the person, right? It's that simple. People don't want to believe it's that simple. They want to complicate it. They want to say that, there should be more to this. And for some left brain people, they don't understand that it could be this simple, but it really is this simple. And you really want to get to the point where we accept it as, this is just the way it is. It's not the way we've been taught necessarily, but this is the way to truth and the way to shift people. And it's a very simple method, energetic testing and so on. And that's just the way it is. It's that simple. So, so I have several other articles that are related to this, some positive words, even treatment. This is a very interesting article here about the repetition. Treatment is all about repetition. So you're never going to get something on the first shot. So you want to clear that effect as well as the healer beliefs. And, there's a few other issues, articles here about focusing and so on. You want to really unfocus, right? Neutrality is about unfocusing. It's very scattered energy, right? That's what you want. So I hope this article was informative, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and please like, share, and subscribe.